This is the true story of 7 strangers picked to live in a house, work together, have their lives taped, to find out what happens when people stop being polite and start getting real. Sound familiar? Well, if you've ever tuned your television to MTV's The Real World, then the show's mantra should certainly resonate with you. For the last 18 years, this reality television show has entered the homes of members of the MTV generation. One of those homes happens to be my own. I can remember as a young girl sneaking into my older sibling's bedroom to watch what I thought was a forbidden show that my parents would never allow me to see. Recalling this caused me to wonder to myself, why is this show so captivating? From this, I have found that there are 2 aspects of The Real World that have contributed to its success. Today, I will discuss The Real World's focus on raising social awareness and satisfying its viewers' desires for voyeuristic entertainment. Since its beginning, The Real World has been a platform for raising social awareness for its viewers and participants. Starting in 1992, as a national and even international social experiment of sorts, The Real World has created a diverse cast of characters consisting of young people from various backgrounds. In an autobiographical article, Season 3 castmate Rachel Campos states, quote, "Black met white, man met woman, homosexual met heterosexual, and liberal met conservative," end quote. These binary relationships mimic the real-life conflicts of race, class, gender, and sexuality that the castmates and viewers often face in their everyday lives. In an article for USA Today, film and TV journalist Susan Wolozina quotes Sarah from the Philadelphia season, who says that she was, quote, "able to bond with 6 other people who were so different from herself," end quote. These unique people exposed each other to contrasting lifestyles, often earnestly approaching controversial social issues. Wolozina gives the example of Pedro Zamora, who, quote, "courageously took his struggle with AIDS into living rooms," in Season 3, end quote. Applicants of the show dropped out once finding out that they might have to live with someone who had AIDS, and the housemates often refused to share a bathroom with Zamora because they were not aware of the risks that they thought would come with living with an AIDS infected person. From this experience, Pedro Zamora became an AIDS activist. Even conservative Campos, who lived with Zamora, was so affected by her experience in the house with him that it caused her to re-examine her own beliefs and educate herself on the disease. Wolozina states that, quote, "abortion, AIDS, sexual harassment, racism, homophobia, alcoholism, and eating disorders are just some of the many touchy topics that The Real World has broached over the years." Now that The Real World has wrestled with some pretty gripping material, there's also a less serious and more entertaining side to the show, its voyeuristic side. In recent times, the show has taken on voyeuristic entertainment. Voyeurism, or the act of secretly viewing intimate behaviors of other people as a fly on the wall, has been a cornerstone of the show's production. And it has taken on voyeurism in the following ways. The first is that the show is sexually explicit. According to Wolozina, in 2001, night vision cameras were installed in bedrooms to, quote, "spy on roomies in mid-tryst or eavesdrop on intimate pillow talk in the dark," end quote. According to Joel Stein, a show applicant who did not make the cut, in his application he wrote about his sexual history in order to present himself in a certain way that would appeal to producers. However, they actually told him that his sexual history was not racy, but rather, quote, "dormant," end quote. They preferred people who had more sexually explicit lifestyles, and for those who did make it, their seasons were filled with nudity and casual sex. Wolozina cites the example of Stephen and Trissel's pregnancy scare in the Las Vegas season. In addition to sexual explicit material, violence in and out of the house is also something that the show touches on. For Wolozina, the Seattle season is one of the most serious cases of violence, where cast member Stephen became so enraged with his housemate Irene that he slapped her very hard and was almost kicked out of the house. Additionally, in the Austin season, a bar brawl resulted in castmate Danny fracturing his eye socket. For former viewer H.C. Lutmers, The Real World is really a parade of alcoholics and people in need of anger management. Giving show viewers access to other people's private lives and their high drama behavior has appealed to the voyeuristic sensibilities of their viewers. The Real World has had a long-standing history of both bringing attention to social matters of contention and satisfying viewers' desires for voyeuristic entertainment. For cast member Rachel Campos, the show was a lesson in building her own, quote, tolerance and acceptance, end quote. And for viewer Tiffany Darling, quote, it is a guilty pleasure, end quote, to watch other people's private lives unfold on TV. Whatever the reason one has for watching The Real World, there's little doubt that these two time-tested components of the show have made it a long-running hit. Thank you.